Hi guys and welcome to my channel. If you are an off-field RC pilot who likes to land your RC bush plane just about anywhere, then you might just as well take a look at this video. In this video I'm going to show you how to make the best set of Tundra wheels for your RC bush plane. The next video demonstrates how forgiving the wheels are. Now look how the wheel absorbs the obstacle in slow motion. For hubs, I use these cotton reels that I've bought from an online store. These hubs are very cheap, durable and comes in a variety of colors. But of course, if you are one of those lucky guys who owns a 3D printer, then the sky is the limit. For bushings, I use 8mm pneumatic hose. They fit perfectly into the center holes of the hubs and has a 5mm inside diameter. I cut two pieces of 10mm long for each wheel, whereafter they get pressed into the hubs. For stub axles I use M5x60 high tensile cap screws, not full threaded, with a shank of 35mm. The shank matches the width of the hub. I use two thin 5mm flat washers on both ends of the hub. After assembling, I tighten the nut. By applying pressure to the stub axle from both sides, I assure enough free play for the hub. The material that I'm using for the tires is 50mm thick high density foam that I've bought from a fabric store. The foam must not have memory. For the best results, it is advisable to have a tire with an inside diameter of plus minus 10mm, smaller than the hub. In this case, my hub measures just under 25mm, so I'm using a hole saw of 16mm that I've specially made for this application. Note the sharp edges on the tip of the saw. To make things a bit easier, make a template out of paper to place on top of the foam for the purpose of marking the wheels onto the foam. Otherwise you will end up in incomplete round shapes and a waste of material. My paper template has got an outside diameter of 110mm and an inside diameter of 16mm. For the drilling of the holes, I recommend the use of a drill press. This will ensure that the holes are straight and square. Make sure that the table of the drilling machine is set to 0 degrees and make sure the drilling stroke of the machine is long enough to drill completely through the foam. Align the drill as close as possible to the marks on the foam. For the best results, it is recommended to set the spindle speed of the drill to a high RPM and to apply a slow and even stroke. Remember to remove the piece of foam from the saw before drilling the next hole. I'm using a thin and sharp knife to cut the outlines of the tires. Try to keep the knife in an upright position to avoid a taper cut. Don't worry if the outlines of your tires doesn't look good at this point, as we are still going to shape them in the next step in this video. Do not fit the raw foam tires to the hubs, as this will damage the center hole of the wheel. Now I'm going to shape the foam. For this I'm going to use my drill press. I've made a hub especially for this purpose, which I mount to the chuck of my drill press. The shank of this hub has got a diameter of 20mm and a length of 45mm. The shoulder washers measures 60mm in diameter. This hub clamps the foam to make things easy for shaping. Now I'm securing the hub in the chuck of my drill press. For this step, I'm placing my drill press in a horizontal position, which will give me a better view on the shape of the tire. Use a dust mask for this step. I use P60 sandpaper to shape the tire. Do not apply too much pressure, as this will cause the tire to wobble. Remember to measure the diameter of the wheel on a regular basis to avoid taking off too much. As a final step, I use black silicone to seal the tires. A silicone gun will be very helpful. I start by applying silicone to the center holes of the tires for approximately 10 mm deep. This is a bit messy, but a very important step that will give strength to the center holes of the tires. To evenly spread the sealant to the outer surface of the tire, I use an old shopping cart. Do not try to give the tire a smooth finish during the first application. It is important to give the first layer of sealant a drying period of at least 12 hours. This will allow the layer to dry completely before the second layer goes on. A too soon application of the second layer will cause a tire with an uneven surface due to trapped wet silicone. With the second layer, it is important to take your time to apply an even and smooth layer, as this will determine the final looks of the tire. Allow the final coat to dry for at least 3 hours. Do not fit the tires to the hubs now, as I am going to show you some very important steps to be taken. Check the hubs for imperfections that can damage the tire during fitment. In order for the tires to breathe, I drill 4 3 mm holes evenly spread in the center of the hub. Make sure that the holes can breathe. Now I mix a drop of dishwashing liquid with water in a spray bottle. Spraying this onto the tire before fitment will protect the tire and make fitment easy. Don't be discouraged by the glossy looks of the tires. After the first day at the field, they will look like real tires. To prevent flat spots on your wheels, don't let the weight of the airplane rest on the wheels for a long period of time. With this set of Tundra wheels, my custom FT Simple Storage has just become a bush plane. I must mention that this airplane that I've made of Corex board is one of my favorite RC planes. I've tweaked the plans here and there to make it a next level beginner's plane. Special thanks to Lift Vector for availing the 3D printables on this airplane. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to ring the notifications bell. Smooth landings, and I'll see you in the next video.